Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. We have a treasure. We are going to talk about goals 2022, talking with Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for giving us an extra 10 or 15 minutes here, given the 9 o'clock canceled. So it feels good for both of us. So why don't you set up what we are thinking about doing in this episode?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, kind of put it out to folks to get clear and write some things down for 2022. I do it for, my health goals, my family goals, my business goals, in investing, all of it, right? And I think that, for the purpose of real estate investing, for the purpose of how do I want to structure my mortgages, how do I want to do things, the more clear you can get, so clear that you can write it down, and then so clear that you can explain it to me or explain it to, anybody else, the better chance you have of accomplishing these goals in 2022. So, some people are going to say, I want to buy my first property in 2022. Okay, great. Write that down, write down a couple steps that you want to take to get to that goal. And, I want to learn how much I qualify for. I want to learn what market I want to buy in. I want to, I'm going to analyze X number of deals per week, whatever that is, right? Like, the more detailed that is, the more work that you put into that, the higher the likelihood the goal gets accomplished. I mean,
awesome.
I'm not going to bore anybody with the statistics or the analytics of that, but I promise you, you write it down, you get clear on it, you got a much better chance of crossing the finish line.
Excellent. So we're going to take two scenarios. Again, one rental at a time. This is very common for viewers. Again, I'm now pushing an idea called players and spectators. We service players. Spectators sit out there and boo and throw popcorn and stuff. So we're going to talk to the players, and we're going to say group number one is I want to get my first rental, and I want to get my first rental next year. And just so you know, so there's no surprises, group number two is going to be, hey, my plan is to get 4 rentals over the next 4 years. So we're going to talk to the first group. So I'll let you go first. You get a phone call. Somebody reaches out to you via greatmortgagebroker.com. They say, hey, I watch one rental at a time. I'm interested in getting my first rental. What are some things that you want to know, or some questions you or your team might have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when they come to me, I want them to have done the work and already have an idea on what market they want to buy in, what property type they're looking for, how much they have, as a down payment. And then I can help you crunch the numbers. But, it's going to be harder for me if you go, well, maybe single family, maybe duplex, well, maybe fourplex. I'm looking at, I like this market. I've heard about this market, being all over the place like that.
Not helpful.
Right.
Well, let's be very clear. I'm glad this is where this conversation went, because that's step one of my course, how to get started one rental at a time. What Matt is talking about is you need to create a buy box. And if you don't know what your buy box is, don't call Matt. You're not ready quite yet, because inside your buy box is going to be, where are you investing, right? I'm not only looking in Fresno, California, I'm looking at a specific zip code, a particular property type, particular price point. I now know the rents. I now know something. So you need to first figure out what your buy box is, know what don't call Matt and go, hey, I might do Texas. I might do Alabama. And you know what? Maybe Fresno, California, because that's where Mike's at. Not helpful.
Right. So now you've got your buy box. You're clear on what you want to do. Call us. Get yourself pre-approved, get to us what we need to truly analyze and serve you, which is full application, all the docs, because then, what we do, whether you ask for it or not, is put together specific scenarios based on your credit score, how much down payment you have. And I'll show you, here's what it looks like at 300, 350, and 400, 20% down, 25% down, give you an Excel spreadsheet that you can edit. Then you have already got, fairly clear about what you're looking to buy, the rents, that. Now you can start to look at, okay, if I put 20% down, here's how much I'm going to cash flow. If I do 25, here's how much I'm going to cash flow. Here's how much money I have. Here's how much I want to keep in reserves. All these questions, it's a fairly simple game, but and I know 9 out of 10 people don't do that. Then they're fumbling through the year. They wake up next year in December. Why didn't I buy anything? Well, I mean, you were wandering around lost. You wonder why you didn't get to your destination.
Yeah. Again, players, you have to make your choice. You got a player is not somebody who does a deal. A player who is a person who makes a decision, has a buy box, and does the work daily. Get a little bit better every day. That is the key, right? So, and then you reach out to greatmortgagebroker.com. You kind of figure out where you need to be to get the deal offered. Hey, I can't qualify for a 600K loan. Great. Well, stop looking at that price point.
Right. Yeah. And, having a detailed loan scenario that tells you exactly what, it's going to look like: principal and interest, taxes, insurance, total cash to close, monthly payment. That helps you do the analysis to know where now you're ready. And I feel like that's empowering for people to say, hey, listen, I knew I wanted to buy in this market. I knew I liked this. Now I know exactly if I put 25% down, here's what my mortgage payments would be. Here's what my expected rents is. Like, you've got all that stuff down. Here's what I'm going to put in for capital expenditures, all that stuff. All the answers now. Like, I work with some of those people and they're dialed, right? Offer at 335, didn't get accepted. No big deal. 2 weeks later, offered 330 on this one. And you're going to get something, right?
Oh yeah. Eventually.
Just a matter of knowing what you want,
Mhm.
setting yourself up to be in a position to go out and get it. And then, you're pre-approved with a good mortgage broker. I called a couple yesterday and, I let them know this is a serious buyer. This is a buyer that we've got pre-approved, as we always do. It's fully vetted. We got a full file. All we have to do is press play. Right. And that's going to help the buyer get an offer accepted versus some random letter from some call center lender that who knows if they can perform or not. I'm telling the person that others and
personally calling them.
Yeah. We've got a full file.
Yeah. The other thing I want to remind folks about is, if you have the course, which, now thousands of people do, you've created a bonus section about mortgages and how to read a proposal and all of those different things. Kind of remind people what's in it, because in that you can potentially save people thousands of dollars.
Right. And that was the funny thing too, is like, I had a comment yesterday on YouTube where the guy says, hey man, I'm in Sacramento and I got pre-approved. I got a 681 credit score and they told me I can get a 3.25. Does that sound right? I said, it sounds about right. How much fees are in box A, which is where any lender fees live, in box A? I don't know. I'm new to this. Well, that's exactly why you found me.
Yeah.
Because 3.25 sounds about right, but not if there's 9,000 in fees.
Yeah.
If there's 500 in fees, it's about right. If there's 9,000, you're getting your payments pulled down, bro. So like that's the thing too, is you want to have an idea, and it varies. Some people talk to 9 different lenders. That's probably excessive, but at least know what you're looking for. Because you can talk to 4 lenders, have no idea what you're looking for, and you don't even know what you found.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that's what I run into a lot too, is people go, here's 3 things I've looked at, what do you think? And I say, I'm better than all 3.
Yeah. But
they don't know why.
Right.
They can't see the fact that like 3.25 with 9,000 is not as good as 3.375 with 0 cost.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let's flip the script. Actually, instead of doing 4, which is really kind of more of the same of one to get to the others, I actually want to step back and say, hey, I'm an investor who owns a couple and I want to get another one. And the reason I want to do this is I often have this saying, time in the market is better than timing the market. And sometimes it makes sense to go back to stuff you own and pull out equity, which is something I've done. I did this in 03, 04. And then I just did this in 2020 and 21, as I went back to the pile of stuff I own. I extracted equity, made sure it's still cash flow, right? Still positive cash flow, and allowed me to raise my dry powder so that I could buy more stuff. So let's assume you're an investor that owns 1 or 2 or whatever. You've owned them for 4 years or more. And why 4 years? Because that means you got a gob of equity. So let's talk about that kind of scenario. Somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm still buying, but I don't have a lot of cash, but I got these other assets over here. Help me figure out if it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is another one of those, get real clear. And in these scenarios, I have a lot of these conversations. I don't even need you to get clear before we talk, because sometimes we can talk through it. Right. And, for investors in California where we're at, they have, like you said, gobs of equity. And and we got the first question I'm going to ask is, what's the goal? Because in these scenarios, a lot of times that property that has $500,000 in equity or $400,000 in equity just sitting there, it cash flows $700 a month. But the person tells me, like, I'm trying to build a portfolio. I'm playing this for the long game. I don't need the cash flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bonus, but it's not necessary. I'm trying to,
You're
acquire.
either you're either in growth stage or you're in slow down stage.
Right.
A lot of people are in growth still.
Yeah. And so, if we can extract 100,000 out or 150,000 out,
very conservative. Yeah.
And you're going to cash flow 425 instead of 700.
Yeah.
If your goal is to add more and get to 5 million in controlled real estate, then, let's do that. But you want to know what the goal is. Mm-hmm. And then you want to make sure, and I use your term alligator this week.
That's awesome.
I talked to somebody, I said, don't create an alligator, because that's probably what you want to make sure of, like, first and foremost.
Yeah, don't ever do that. I've done that.
150 out, and if you go from 700 to 425 in cash flow, great. If you're anywhere near break even, I always warn people, break even means it costs you money every month.
Exactly.
Because
take less.
Yeah, hot water heaters break. I had a roof issue.
Yeah.
I've had things happen over the last year, and real estate's not always sunshine and rainbows.
No.
Sometimes it's rain and drywall in your home office. But
exactly.
You want to make sure that nothing's eaten away at monthly cash flow and it's losing you money.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much opportunity where you pull. Now you have 150, you go from 700 a month to 425 on that property. No big deal, because you're going to buy a new one. Mm-hmm. It's going to replace that cash flow, and now you're controlling another $400,000 or $500,000 in real estate. And like we talked about in another video, like, it feels really good to own $3, $4, $5 million in real estate, and then look back and go, oh,
I like inflation.
Over the last couple of years means that my real estate portfolio of 4 million went to 5.2 million. I added 1.2 million in net worth
while I slept. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, for sure. So those conversations are fun too. And like you said, those are common conversations. That's stuff that's happening where, what better place to, use equity that is just sitting there to go out and buy more rentals. Just do it responsibly. And the good news is, on a cash out refinance of an investment property, lenders aren't going to allow you to go above 75, right? And like, everybody warns of, oh my gosh, real estate crash. Everybody's, so bullish and so excited. They used to let you go to 100.
They did. You can be an owner occupy 103 or 104.
Yeah. And that stuff doesn't exist. There are, things in place. It's going to be a fixed rate loan. It's going to be capped at 75% on investment property. You're going to be in a good position no matter what happens. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal, folks. If you're a one rental at a time, you have a couple of units, you've owned them 3 or 4 years. The only person you should call is Matt from greatmortgagebroker.com, because he's going to have these conversations with you. He's not going to be this call center. It's like, oh, we got another one. Let's jam them up. Again, it's going to get bad out there. I'm very afraid about the average consumer is just going to get jammed up. So greatmortgagebroker.com, right?
Yep. Hit us up. We're happy to help.
There you go. And how long does it take to fill out the form?
About 17 seconds, give or take. Yeah.
17 seconds. I think you guys can fit it in. Right. Again, greatmortgagebroker.com. Reach out to Matt and his team. They will take care of you. Thanks, bud.
Cool. Merry Christmas, man.
Thank you.